Welcome to the wonderful world of EdPuzzle. So I just wanted to briefly start with why I use EdPuzzle and where I use EdPuzzle so you can get an idea of the options that you have. So I have used EdPuzzle since the beginning of this school year in my personal financial management replacement class, and it's a class of all students who have IEPs and various learning disabilities, so it really helps them to work at their own pace, and each topic that's covered in the slides is then reviewed again in class after the EdPuzzle is over, so they get to hear the content multiple times. It ensures that the information is not only presented to them using some kind of video or slideshow, but it also is accompanied by my very entertaining voice, so they get it both visually and then the auditory processors get the information that way. And with the questions embedded throughout the video, they also do hands-on activities, so they're getting the information through actually being active during the presentation. My sub-plans are also EdPuzzle videos. So if a student comes in and has a sub, and some of my students get super excited when they see a sub, and some realize that it might be a little bit of a messy day because subs don't always know exactly how the class runs, it always runs the same way because it always starts with an EdPuzzle. So it's definitely helpful to keep consistency and a specific schedule for students who are used to it and need it because of their classifications. So I find that EdPuzzle is really helpful with days that I'm out and also with days that they're out because they can go ahead and keep up with the class by just doing it at home.
I use EdPuzzle in a similar way. I've also done a lot of topics of so why would I use it? It's basically, I often try to find out the best examples of other professionals that have done EdPuzzles on various topics, like other historians or other subject matter experts, people that I'd be very expensive to get to come in, but talking about a topic that might be of interest to students. And we also, Kelly and I really worked together along with the other Summer Institute teachers to do almost like the entire lecture element of the course, Summer Institute course, online via the EdPuzzle. And we found it to be very effective as a tool to kind of teach students the material, even though we weren't actually there. But in the normal school year, I use it during class. I do a lot of in-class flips. So it's just basically watch a video, and then maybe it's watch a video at the station and you guys are doing something else over there, or it's sometimes optional, or other times it's explicitly what the homework is for them to watch the EdPuzzle and then answer the questions afterwards. So that's kind of when I use it. More or less it's done in class. That's my typical use case.
So at this point you're probably saying, that sounds awesome, but I really have no idea what you're talking about in terms of EdPuzzle. So we're going to show you a typical EdPuzzle that you can find on the EdPuzzle site. We're going to talk you through the process of how to actually sign on to EdPuzzle after. But right now we're going to look at an example. So from a student side, without the options on the bottom to share, copy, or copy and edit, they're going to get a video that they can play, rewind, and watch through during class time. In the video, which we would assume could be for an English class, or we could even throw this into a forensics class at this point, the question pops up in the video and it's embedded by the teacher. The teacher can choose to do a multiple choice or an open-ended question. In this case, it's multiple choice for the first one. What does he think is on his newspaper? And then you can choose to also add a secondary question. And again, we're going to show you how to do all this, but this is just the example. The students, which is what I love, cannot move forward until they make a selection. In my class, I also have the option for them to rewind. So let's just say they are having a hard time figuring out what the answer is. They could go back and listen to that particular section again to be sure that they get the correct answer. And then you just go through, and apparently I can't select the answer until I make this my own. See right here. But before you move on to the next part, you would answer both Okay, so we're gonna just stop at this point anyway, just so that you can get the idea. But what is happening is that this is a pre-made video. We selected this just to show you, and this pre-made video shows you exactly how it will appear on the student end, again, minus the options at the very bottom. But they would get this screen for viewing. They would have the questions popping up as they go. They're aware that every time they hit a question mark, the video is going to pause for them to answer a question or to give feedback, so they can kind of gauge how long. The video itself is 3 minutes and 25 seconds, but that's not counting the time that they would take within the video to answer the questions. And that's the basics of what would be seen from a student end.